What up, y'all? It's your boy Evan Lamore. You are tuned in to a very special edition of Eclectic Perceptions. For those who don't know, this year marks 50 years since the birth of the greatest genre in the world. So obviously there's been a lot of tribute shows, a lot of celebrations, especially if you're in New York. There's a lot going on. And shout out to Naima Cochran. She's a dope music journalist. She runs a page on Instagram and Twitter called Music Sermon. Every year in June for Black Music Month, she does a list of prompts for each day of the month for people to share, their song for what fits this prompt or that prompt. And she does other prompts throughout the year too. And this year for August being the 50-year anniversary of hip hop, she did 31 days of hip hop. So each day during the month of August, she dropped a different prompt for you to share, this song that fits this situation, that situation. And I try to follow her prompts, every year when she does them. And this year I thought it would be dope to make a playlist and, share with y'all, a little bit about myself through music, which is, to me, one of the dopest things about the prompt is just getting to share each other's experiences and get to know each other a little bit through music. So today we're gonna run through my 31 days of hip hop, and the link to my playlist is gonna be in the description. Go ahead and follow me on Apple Music. I'm gonna be dropping a lot more playlists soon. And I already got some up there, so go ahead and give them a listen and let me know what you think. So we're gonna start with day one. You quote the lyrics to this track on a regular basis. For me, that song is Lumberjack by Tyler, the Creator. Definitely my favorite song from Call Me If You Get Lost. Still bumps heavy in the whip, still goes in my gym playlist crazy. And the part that I'm always quoting is the first bar. Rolls Royce pull up, black boy hop out. That bar is just always in my head when I, pull up somewhere, especially if it's at a function. I'm looking good, I'm smelling good, I'm feeling good, and I'm just feeling myself. Obviously, I'm not pulling up in the Rolls Royce yet, but just wait on it, it's coming. So moving on to day two. A song you got in trouble for playing. For me, that song is Get Low by Lil Jon. So this song came out when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade. So obviously I wasn't playing it necessarily, but it literally played on the bus every day on my way home from school. And me and the other kids, we always sang the hook real loud. And somehow or another, it got back to my parents. I don't know if they heard it as we were pulling up one day and saw me singing it or what have you, but it was definitely an issue. My parents were super conservative. Growing up, wasn't nothing playing in the car or in the house except gospel and maybe some old school R&B, like some Donny Hathaway or something like that. But wasn't no hip hop, no raunchy shit, no nothing playing in my house. So anything outside of that, I didn't hear it unless it was on the radio and it was one of those songs that just played everywhere. We couldn't escape it. And Get Low was definitely one of them songs back then. I didn't have control of what I listened to until like maybe 6th grade, I think, when I got a PSP, a PlayStation Portable. And my parents didn't know that you could download music on there. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have got it for me. But after that, it was all downhill from there. And a couple years later, they pretty much gave up with trying to control what we listened to. And here we are now. Day 3. This song represents your hip hop generation. For me, that's definitely High Power by Kendrick Lamar. I feel like that song really encapsulated the hip-hop fan that I was when I first started getting into hip-hop. Super conscious, really into the bars and that, backpack shit. And obviously Kendrick was definitely all about that when he first came out. Section 80 was like the peak of backpack Kendrick. 2012, 2013, that was, I think, kind of like the beginning of the end of the backpack era. And beyond that, the shit that he's talking about on the song, the reading between the lines, the diving into conspiracy theories, just not believing the bullshit that the system is feeding us, that's definitely all my generation is about. Day 4, a song that put your state on its back. So any of my 302 folks on here that was still in high school or college back in 2012, you already know Out Delaware by Bobby Dimes is definitely the Delaware anthem. if you were still in school at that point, everybody was two-stepping to that song. And if you went to Wesley College from 2013 to 2017, you already know how I get down when this song comes on. R.I.P. Bobby Dimes. Day 5, you really need the artist to explain the lyrics to this song. So I don't really need him to explain the lyrics necessarily, because I get what he was saying. I just don't know why he would say it, or at least why he would say it like that. Anybody that knows Me and My Bitch by Biggie, you already know the bars I'm talking about. And my thing is, like, nobody in the studio with him was like, pause. Nobody in the room was like, bro, you sure that's the bar? You sure? Like, I don't know. It's beyond me. Day 6, a favorite song by a femc. So like it or love it, the most significant female MC of my generation is definitely Nicki Minaj. And one of my favorite songs of hers, definitely my favorite song of hers from recent years, is Seeing Green with her, Wayne, and Drake. I love the beat, love the sample, love hearing the three-headed monster of YMC and B get back together. And it was just good to hear Nicki talking her shit. Day 7, a favorite rap song from a soundtrack. So I don't know how many of y'all has seen The Man with the Iron Fists. Not recommending the movie necessarily. It's decent, it's got some decent action, and RZA directed it, so shout out to him. I'll say watch it just for the sake of the culture, but there's a really dope song from Kanye on the soundtrack called White Dress. It's a really dope, soulful, classic Kanye track. It's not on any other albums, it's just on the soundtrack. But honestly, it's one of my favorite Kanye songs of all time, so definitely go check that out. Day 8, the perfect rap and R&B collaboration. So this one was super easy. First song that comes to my mind when I think of rap and R&B is One More Chance, Stay With Me remix by Biggie. It's a no-brainer. Biggie, Faith Evans, Mary J. Blige, quintessential hip-hop R&B track. Day 9, a track with a legendary video. So when I think of legendary hip-hop videos, the first name that comes to mind for me is Hype Williams. He's directed some of my favorite videos ever. Flavor in Your Ear, California Love, Big Pimpin', Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See. But I think the one that probably comes to mind for everybody is Super Duper Fly by Missy Elliott. Like, you'd be hard pressed to find a more creative hip-hop music video than that. Day 10, a hip-hop love song. So a couple songs came to mind for me with this one. Poetic Justice by Kendrick, What's Your Name by Tyler, the Creator, Lotus Flower Bomb by Wale. But I decided to take a different spin on it. I'm somebody, I love metaphors and just really good writing, just in general, but especially in hip hop. And one of the most creative love songs that I've ever heard was Hip Hop by Scarface and Nas. It was off DJ Khaled's album Kiss the Ring, and essentially it's Scarface and Nas talking about hip hop as if it's a woman that's done them wrong, but they can't really leave her alone because they love her too much. It's a really dope way for them to approach a love song. They're, basically using it as a tribute to this game that's given them so much, but also taking a lot from them too. So go check that out if you haven't heard it yet. Day 11, your idea of the definitive hip hop track. So for this one, I just tried to think of the first song that came to my mind when I think of hip hop. The first sample to pop in my head, the first beat that I heard, the first bars, just what was the first song that when I think of quintessential hip hop fits the bill. And in my opinion, you can't find a more just textbook quintessential 90s boom bap golden age of hip hop song than Cream by Wu-Tang. Day 12, a song from the first hip hop album you bought with your own money. So I'm gonna come clean. I was definitely on the LimeWire and YouTube to MP3 converter wave for a very long time. I didn't buy my first hip hop album with my own money until 2015 when I bought King Push, Darkest Before Dawn. And one of my favorite songs from that album was untouchable. The best part of that song for me was the beat. The Biggie sample, that just dark, menacing atmosphere that the beat created. Timbo really did his thing. I love when Timbo and Push get together. Day 13, a favorite party track. So this answer is probably gonna make a certain section of people upset, and to be quite frank with you, I really don't care, because Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill still goes crazy every time, at every function, no matter where I'm at. I'm getting up and I'm going crazy to Dreams and Nightmares. A lot of people say, like, aren't y'all tired of it yet? You know, can we let Dreams and Nightmares die? No, we cannot. Day 14, a song where the ad-libs seal the show. So obviously nobody does ad-libs better than Migos, right? And everybody knows their main ad-lib that they're known for is the mama. So the first song that I heard them do it on, and I think the definitive one, at least in my opinion, was Fight Night. That was one of the first songs I heard after they first blew up with the Versace joint. And when I think of them doing that ad-lib, that's the song that I always hear in my head. Day 15, a song that expanded your idea of what rap could be. So on my Utopia review, I talked about how I was at one point a heavy lyrical, miracle, spiritual, individual, criminal rap fan. And one of the main experiences that changed that was me seeing Travis Scott live at Made in America in 2016, either 2015 or 2016. And hearing the energy, or feeling the energy in the crowd, and just the atmosphere and how crazy it was, it shifted my perspective on the value of music that's just fun and feel-good music and just has that vibe and that energy to it. And the first song that I really felt that shift and like felt my spirit leave my body was Mamacita. And anyone that's ever seen him live, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen him live a couple times since then, and it's the same experience every time. Day 16, the best Fuck You track. So the first song that came to mind for me with this one was Mr. Me Too by The Clips and Pharrell. Just knowing the whole backstory behind the song with their whole beef with Wayne and Baby, and, you know, Wayne getting accused of jacking their style and sneak dissing them in interviews, but then wearing Pharrell's clothes, and just, it was a whole messy thing. I just felt like that fuck you energy really bled through on the song, and I've definitely used it for motivation in the gym and had some specific people in mind. So this was just the first song that came to mind for me. Day 17, a song by your GOAT that explains why they're your GOAT. So this may be a hot take to some. I don't think it should be, but ultimately I know it will be. For me, when I think of the GOAT hip hop artists, for me, it is undoubtedly Kanye West. And I think there's no song that, you know, showcases that better than Through the Wire. Everything that we love about Kanye, the bravado, the, you know, soul samples, the production, and just the passion. You gotta be passionate to be rapping while your jaw is literally wired shut. It's just everything we love about Kanye jam-packed into one track. Obviously it's early Kanye, so it's not him at his most polished or whatever, but I think it's definitely him at his most passionate. Day 18, you rewound this song over and over and over and over again because it had a bar that was fire. So obviously Ready to Die is one of my favorite albums of all time, and Biggie's one of my favorite rappers of all time. And my favorite song of his, and one of the first ones that I heard, was Give Me the Loot. Hearing him switch back and forth with his voice to sound like the two characters on the song was just super dope to me. And One of my favorite bars was at the end of the first verse when he says, so for the bread and butter, I'll leave niggas in the gutter. Word to mother, I'm dangerous, crazier than a bag of fucking angel dust. When I bust my gap, motherfuckers take dirt naps. I'm all that in a dime sack, where to pay that? Like, just the way he delivered it was just like crazy to me. Like, I couldn't get enough of that. I rewound that part over and over and over and over and over again, especially the part about when I bust my gap, motherfuckers take dirt naps. Like, I don't know, it's not like super crazy, but something about it I loved it. Day 19, a joint from a legendary rap crew. So when you think of legendary, I feel like it doesn't get more legendary than the legendary Roots crew. And if you call yourself a hip hop fan and you don't know who that is, shame on you, because I feel like it's not enough people these days that know about the Roots. I feel like they're super slept on, and it makes no fucking sense to me. They're super dope, been around since the late 80s and still making music. They're literally a live band, but they have a rapper as their front man instead of a singer. If you've ever watched The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, they're his background band. So they're, you know, super talented, super multifaceted. And if you're looking to get into them, probably a good intro track, one of their best songs, one of my favorite songs of theirs is You Got Me with them, Erykah Badu, and Jill Scott. A random side note, if you're looking for something to make you laugh, their episode with Jimmy Fallon on Silent Library from back in the day on MTV is fucking hilarious. So you can find that on YouTube if you're looking for something to make you laugh. Day 20, a song with a verse that makes you scrunch your face up. So the first rapper that I thought of with this one was definitely Pusha T, because he just has so many songs, so many verses, so many bars that made you just ugh. I mean, it's literally his ad-lib for a reason. But for this one, I actually went with a song of his that it wasn't him that made me scrunch my face up. It was the feature, Kendrick Lamar. The song Nostalgia off My Name Is My Name. I feel like it's hard to out-rap Push on his own song. It doesn't happen often. Usually it's the other way around. Push is out-rapping you on your song. But Kendrick's verse on this was just like, the part where he said, quantum physics can never show you the world I was in when I was 10, back when 9 ounces had got you 10, and 9 times out of 10, niggas don't pay attention, and when there's tension in the air, 9s come with extensions. Like, I don't know if y'all really get how crazy those bars were. Like, quantum physics could never show you the world I was in when I was 10, back when 9 ounces had got you 10, and 9 times out of 10, niggas don't pay attention, and when there's tension in the air, 9s come with extensions. Like, who thinks of shit like that? Day 21, the greatest posse cut. So I went back and forth with this one. I thought about International Players Anthem, I thought about So Appalled, I thought about Scenario, but when I think about posse cuts and everybody coming together to do what they do and shine in the best way, there's no better posse cut than the Touch It remix. Specifically the Mega Mix, because technically there's like 5 or 6 different Touch It remixes, because he did individual remixes with each artist, and then he did the main remix with all of them coming together. But on that one, he cut all of their verses in half. But the Mega Mix went on for like 10 minutes because it let everybody do their full verse. That one was the one for me. And everybody always debates who had the best verse on there. For me, it is definitively DMX, but let me know in the comments who you felt like had the best verse on there. Day 22, a favorite remix. So I originally was gonna put the Touch It remix here, but I felt like that was too easy, because I feel like most hip hop fans, if you think about a remix, the Touch It remix is gonna be the first one that a lot of them think of. So I didn't want to go super obvious. So in thinking about, what else I could put here, one of my personal favorite remixes is the Black Hippie remix to Black Lip Bastard. The original song is from Ab-Soul's album Control System, and they did a remix with Kendrick, J-Rock, and Schoolboy Q on the last track of the album. And obviously it's Black Hippie, so everybody did their thing, but that to me is J-Rock's best verse that I've ever heard from him. Like, it's hard to outshine Kendrick, I feel like, on a song, but J-Rock did his fucking thing. Day 23. This song was the best introduction to a new upcoming rapper. So like I told y'all before, growing up I wasn't allowed to listen to a lot of secular music. Started getting more into it in middle school, and then I really became a hardcore hip hop fan in high school. And one of the things that helped me to really catch up on all the music that I missed out on was my cousin Michael, shout out to Kaiser Floze. He gave me a flash drive with a whole bunch of music on it. I got introduced to so many different rappers off that flash drive. Mac Miller, Charles Hamilton, Big Crit, Chance the Rapper, Action Bronson, J. Cole, and I think the biggest gem that I gleaned from that flash drive was getting introduced to Kendrick Lamar. He had tried to introduce me to Kendrick before. He let me hear Cut You Off his Overly Dedicated mixtape, and I thought it was cool. The song was more funny than anything, but I didn't really think much of it. I thought he was gonna be like an internet rapper that wouldn't ever really like break the ceiling. But then I heard Growing Apart off that same mixtape, and I was like, oh, okay. Him and Jhené Aiko. That was when I really started to like pay attention to Kendrick. And then the next song I heard was Rigor Mortis off Section 80. And that's when I was like, all right, yeah, I really need to pay attention to Kendrick. Like, he's going somewhere. And funny enough, the little ad-lib that Kendrick says on there,
he did. I killed him. Amen. Bitch.
Mike used to say that all the time to me and my other cousin Josh, when we would play Halo or Call of Duty or something, and he would kill us. So I never knew where he got it from. And then when I heard the song for the first time, I was like, oh, that's where you got that shit from. So always be grateful to Mike for putting me on to so much music. So shout out to the Lyrical Miracle himself, one of the best rappers to come out of Delaware, and definitely a musical encyclopedia, Kaiser Floze. Day 24, a rap feature that ate up the main artist. So with this one, the first one that came to mind is probably the same first song that came to everybody's mind with this prompt. Monster. Nicki's verse on there was obviously legendary. Listen to the verse, it's self-explanatory. Eating Kanye and Jay-Z is a feat in and of itself. Like, she's legendary off the strength of that alone. Still to this day, the hardest verse I've ever heard her spit. I don't care what nobody says. That is her best verse. Day 25, a song from the artist with the best rap voice. So I thought about a couple of different artists with this one. I thought about Pac, I thought about Jadakiss, I thought about Black Thought, but ultimately I felt like there's no voice more iconic in hip hop than DMX's. And my favorite song of his is X Gon' Give It To You. Day 26, a song from the artist with the best flow. Again, thought about a few different people with this one. I thought about Biggie, thought about Busta, thought about Jay, but ultimately I felt like Snoop has the best flow in the game, and that definitely shined through on Nothing But a G Thing. A track that could be made into a movie. So I think at one point Kendrick actually was planning on doing a short film for Good Kid, Mad City. Kendrick, if you see this, it's not too late. But I think that if I was to pick one track that would be like the scene of the movie, it definitely would be Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. Like, the storytelling on that song was, the whole album was super cinematic, but the storytelling on that song in particular was crazy. One of my favorite Kendrick songs of all time, definitely top 5. Day 28, a song by your favorite producer. So my favorite producer in hip hop has gotta be Pharrell. I feel like his range of production styles and his skills are like just unmatched by anybody else in the game. If I could pick one skill set that I don't have, it would definitely be to produce music the way that he does. Like, I don't understand that level of musical talent. And one of my favorite beats of his, I'm sure it's a lot of people's favorite beat of his, Drop It Like It's Hot by Snoop. Fun fact, I was actually in the drum line all through high school and my freshman year of college, and my senior year of high school, I charted out a couple of different songs for the drum line to play in the stands during the games, and Drop It Like It's Hot was definitely one of them. That one was always fun to play. Day 29, a song from the best MC and DJ duo. So when I think about just the perfect pairing of MC and a DJ, I feel like no one meshes together better than Nas and DJ Premier. And there were so many examples of songs that they've done together that were perfect examples of why, but the one that came to mind for me was I Gave You Power. Nas giving Primo the idea that he wanted to do the song, from the perspective of a gun, and what Primo was able to do with that premise, and then what Nas was able to do with the beat, it was textbook. And I know they've been teasing doing an album together. I know Nas has been on a crazy run with Hit Boy with these last few albums, but we need that Nas and DJ Premier album. Like, somebody get this to him, please. We need that. Day 30, a song that felt like it came from your life. So like I said earlier, to me, Kanye is the GOAT when it comes to overall hip hop artists. And one of the biggest reasons why for me is because his music just strikes a chord with people that is super relatable, and it makes you feel like he's speaking from your perspective, and it gets you fired up as if he's really speaking with your voice. That belief in himself, it bleeds through the track in a super infectious way, and it makes you, pumped up for believing in yourself. And that's why like half of my gym playlist is Kanye shit. And for me, the song that really felt like it was coming from my perspective is Spaceships. Coming from somebody who started out in retail, and I work a corporate job now, but it's still a grind, and having to put up with all the bullshit that comes with working in retail and now working in corporate, all the disrespect, all the the long hours, just that grind of doing what you have to do now so you can do what you want to do later. I think we all can relate to that, and that definitely strikes a chord with me every time I hear it. And finally, day 31, a song that puts a battery in your back. So when I think about putting a battery in my back, I think about those moments in the gym, those moments where my body wants to give out, the pre-workout's wearing off, and I really just want to quit, and I just need that extra boost to get through this last set or these last couple sets. And one of the main things I do, I gotta find that song that's gonna get me through. And there's a few songs that I might go to depending on the day and depending on the workout. I might do Takeover by Jay-Z. I might do Mad City by Kendrick. Power by Kanye is always a good one. Again, a lot of Kanye on my gym playlist, but I think the number one go-to for me when I just need that extra fire under my feet definitely is Gang Gang by Schoolboy Q. Alright y'all, I appreciate y'all going on this little musical journey with me and getting to know me a little bit better through my music. And I want to get to know y'all too, so go ahead and drop some of y'all's picks for these prompts in the comment section below. Like I said, the link to my playlist is going to be in the description of the video. Go ahead and follow me on Apple Music as well. Going to have a lot more playlists dropping in tandem with my videos. And if you enjoyed what you saw here, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. As always, any support goes a long way. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.